So we're getting confused again now because there's a lot of driving and not enough time to do these videos when we need to do them. So we're doing day, what did I say, 9 and 10. We're doing day 9 and 10 in one video because not much happened because we were driving. So day 9 we had to drive to Tulsa, so that was the big drive that we had to get up at, leave at 3 o'clock in the morning. And how long did it end up taking us? 15-16 hours, yeah? So we got there, it took us 15-16 hours. I think we stopped probably 5 times to pee and whatnot. Did we buy any food on the way or anything exciting? I don't think so. He had Macca's for breakfast. I think I talked about that in the last video, so I think that's already been done. And we wanted to stop and get some Route 66 stuff because this drive was such a long drive. I thought, oh, we'll get it on the next day when it's not so long, so we have a bit more time to play with. Anyway, and then what hotel was Tulsa? What one did that look like? A big brown one. Apparently our hotel was a big brown one.
Where you walk in and then to the left, you have room on the bottom.
Pardon? Pardon?
Park like out the front.
Yeah.
And then when you walk in, the bathroom is on the left. And it's like there. Right.
Oh, is this the one with the full kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, our hotel at Tulsa had a full-on kitchen, and it's like, oh, well, I don't think we're cooking after we've just been driving for 16 hours. And yeah, so no utensils, nothing. So it's kind of pointless having the kitchen because you got to bring all your own shit. It's like for people that want to live there. And we were meant to go to the steak and catfish barn, but we decided because we had seafood in Las Vegas, we weren't going to stop on the way through because it was just taking too long. Because we would have had to stop in Oklahoma. And yeah, we decided not to do that. And then part of me was like, well, if we're going to wait all the way until we get to Tulsa, I'll just have friggin' mac and cheese or chicken noodles or something that I've already bought, so it's cheap. But then fatty me got there and was like, nah, that's not enough. I want to eat out. So then we went to IHOP, which is like a famous pancake breakfast type place. And how did we go there?
Well, it's famous for the pancakes, but because we had meat, we had to get burgers.
Yeah, you probably couldn't hear him, but it's famous for its pancakes, but because we hadn't eaten, we've been eating a lot of breakfast, okay? We've been eating a lot of eggs, a lot of bacon, a lot of pancakes, a lot of McMuffins, a lot of coffee. So we're doing all right in the breakfast type food department, but we want to explore a little bit more into everything else. So we went to a breakfast place and said we're not getting breakfast. So the waitress noticed we were Australian, didn't she?
Yeah. She asked where we were from.
Yeah. Yes. Waitress asked where we were from. We said Australia.
We're going to get a bit now. We're going to have the girls' trucks and stuff.
So we went from Tulsa to where? Springfield. So Tulsa, was that the one where she knew we were Australian? Yeah. Yeah, so the lady at the desk at Tulsa at our hotel thought we knew we were Australian as well. And had a bit of a yak to her. Oh, we got home. I got a sore throat. Went to IHOP and I got a chicken, bacon, avocado roll burger thing with onion rings on the side, and he got a bacon cheeseburger type thing, bacon cheeseburger hamburger thing with chips on the side. So we shared the chips and shared the onion rings, and oh my god, that burger, that burger was beautiful. yum. It's delicious. And I asked for extra sauce on it. It had ranch sauce, which is like aioli in Australia. And it was just delicious. Oh, yum. So yum.
And what about that other sauce?
Yeah, and then she's like, do you want any sauces or anything? And I was like, do you have barbecue sauce? And she's like, no, sorry, we don't have barbecue sauce. And then I saw on another table, these people had this sauce, and it looked like barbecue sauce. I'm like, maybe they don't call it barbecue sauce, because they don't call tomato sauce ketchup. And so when I finally got her attention, because I was on my last bit, I'm like, if there's barbecue sauce, I've got to save this. Put barbecue sauce on it. I was waiting ages, and I was so hard not to eat it while I was sitting in front of me. I was waiting for my barbecue sauce, and she came along, and I'm like, what's that sauce over there? And then she's like, that's the sauce you kind of put on steak and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that's barbecue sauce. It'll be barbecue sauce. And it's called A1. And then she went and got it and brought it over, and I tasted it, and it is so weird. Like, it's not barbecue sauce.
Like Coke sauce.
It's like Coke sauce. It is so sweet, and it tastes like Coke. And they put it on their steaks. And I wasn't a fan. Like, I had the tiniest little dot of it, and I'm like, nah. Steve liked it a bit more than me, didn't you?
Yeah, I think
Like, he thought it would have been good on steak. But I think it's because, well, steak would kind of be salty with all the oils it's cooked with, yeah? And then he put salty and sweet. But nah, it wasn't my cup of tea. So I didn't need that. And then we got extra ranch on the side, and I stole some of his ranch, whatever was left of it. And that was just absolutely delicious. And then got back to the hotel, Tulsa. What did we do when we got back to the hotel? I tried to upload a video, and the internet was absolutely shit house. And so that didn't go so well. Then we sorted our suitcases out. Then that was the night we tried to sort the money out, right? Oh, then we had a nightmare trying to sort our money out, and it's so confusing because we had a set amount in the travel card that was set aside for all the hotels and the petrol so that when at the end of the trip, this is how much we put in that travel card, and this is how much was for the petrol and the hotels, so that we can split right down the middle. And that's because we shared both those things, and that's that. Then we were meant to have like our own spending money and food money, but what we'd been doing was transferring into the travel card and keeping track of that so that it doesn't affect what we already had in there, what we had to pay half for. And there was a few times where I put money in there and I couldn't withdraw it, so it was still in there and it was still my money. But then sometimes we did withdraw money, and half the time I haven't had my purse, so whatever I've got now has been in his wallet. And anyway, we went through so much bullshit trying to work it out, because it said that I had already spent, so my budget was $2,000 for this whole entire holiday, and it said that I had already spent $1,200, so 2,000 Australian, and I had already spent 1,200 Australian in 9 days, and we still have 3 weeks to go. So I was like, oh shit. Anyway, we ended up working out somehow, and we're just going to keep our spending money separate now. And we're back on track. So he's paid off what he had to pay off, and I've got what I've got. And then we're just going to have it separate now. Because bloody hell, that was confusing. And that took about 2 hours, okay? I had so much that I wanted to do that night, because we don't get much spare time at the hotels. Like most nights, well, some nights we just get there and have to go straight to bed, pretty much.
And I was getting rocked by iTunes while we're doing this.
Oh, and iTunes were taking his money out of his bank account, $227, and he wasn't even buying anything, and they just were taking his money. So then he was sorting that out, and then we were kind of getting a little bit heated because he was stressed and I was stressed. So I was stressed about my money and he was stressed about his money. So he was trying to sort his thing out, but I couldn't sort my thing out without him helping me sort it out. Anyway, we got there in the end. So he's getting a refund, hopefully, and then yeah, all our money's sorted out. I better check the map because don't want me going the wrong way. try to, but mine's a bloody bomb again. It's hard because we bought a lot of crap. And we got food and stuff as well to lug around. And then went to sleep. What time did we leave for Springfield? Got up in the morning, had complimentary grab and go breakfast. So I grabbed 2 muffins, he grabbed 2 muffins, I grabbed 2 muesli bars, and we got 2 coffees. So that was breakfast sorted out pretty nice and easily. Well, we think we left around 8:30, had no idea. And then, so first stop was Ted Drew's frozen custard, which he's been waiting for. He said he was pretty excited for the whole entire time. So he's like, I want that Ted Drew's custard, and we better go there. So we drove all the way there, which was, was St. Louis, yeah? Stopped in St. Louis. Did anything exciting happen before that? Oh, a few naps, a bit of music. Not much, okay? We're just on the road. Stopped in St. Louis to go to Ted Drew's, got out of the car, and holy shit, it was hot. Like, temperature-wise, like degrees, Las Vegas was hotter, but I felt it more.
It was humid.
I felt it more when we got out of that car for like 10 minutes. It was humid as, and I was struggling. Like, I'm like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I wanted to get back in the car. I was like pacing back and forward, like my brain was all fried, and I was like, so hot. And yeah, but this Ted Drew's place, you can't go in it. It's like a walk-through, drive-through with all these windows. So they're all in there making the custard, and you walk past all these windows and you make your order, but not in your car. You have to walk through it. And anyway, then I had to make the decision of what flavour when it's boiling hot and my brain's all fried. And I chose Fragile Forest, which is banana and hot fudge, but then I added brownies to it. And we asked for a regular. What did you get? What was yours called? Something shot. All shook up. His was like all shook up, and it was banana and Reese's peanut butter. And we asked for regulars, and then they gave us the big ones. And so the deal with these things are, it's meant to be, they're called concretes. So you're meant to get it and be able to turn it upside down, and nothing will fall out. It's like that hard that it's like concrete and whatever. But then they said the more flavours you add, the thinner it gets. So by the time I got mine was not, I could not tip mine over, and his was all overflowing over the edges. So he was like getting it all down himself and making a mess, and then whatnot. And then I'm like, I have to eat it in the car. I have to get back in the car, put the aircon on, because I'm dying. It would have melted in like 5 seconds. But mine, so this was our lunch, okay? We had like ice cream custard sweetness for lunch, and it was so delicious. Mine was. His was pretty gay. His was pretty, oops, shouldn't say that word. Yeah, his was pretty not great, okay? His was pretty ordinary. So I felt bad for him because
I liked it.
he liked it, but it wasn't that exciting. It was pretty plain, like, because it was like plain vanilla custard with bits in it, yeah? But mine was like full on chocolatey and yum. It had like real banana bits in it, which I didn't expect. Did yours have real banana bits?
I don't know, when I got to the bottom I had all of like the chocolate chip bits and everything.
Yeah. Anyway, so I destroyed that in like 5 seconds because I'm like, I gotta get driving again. Oopsie doodle. Having a malfunction here. Never mind. And yeah, delicious. So much sugar. It's like this big. It's like about the size of my head. That was yum. And then we kept on going. Got to Springfield, got out of the car and walking in. I heard there's a couple of people sitting at the front, and I heard one say, "Oh, Adelaide, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Australians?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." Well, that was retarded, wasn't it? What did I say? I don't know, I got all excited. I said, "G'day," and they said, "G'day," and then they asked where we were from and whatnot, and that's what happened. So the plan was to go straight to our room, go chuck our washing on because I had a laundry. Went and put our washing on, finally. Then we took turns going to the toilet. And someone had a bit of an upset stomach. It wasn't me. Nothing. Took turn going to the toilet, finished our washing. The dryer didn't dry it properly, so we had to hang it all up in our room. Then it was off to the next Man vs Food place, which was Darcy's Pint. Drove to there. This was for dinner. And there was like a wait because it was so busy. There was a wait like 20 minutes before we could get in. Went in there, and then our waitress comes up and goes, can I get you any drinks? And I said, yeah. Because there was a menu there and it was all wine and beer. So I said, oh, do you guys have spirits? And she's like, oh, sorry, no spirits. I'm like, so no vodka, no bourbon, no. And she's like, what? I'm like, do you have vodka? She's like, what? I'm like, vodka. And then she still wasn't getting what I was saying. And then he said, vodka. And then she's like, oh, vodka? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you just said you have no spirits. Vodka is a spirit. Anyway, there's miscommunication between the Australian and the American accent thing. She did not know what I was saying at all. I'm like, I swear I'm speaking English. I don't know what's going on here. And I'm like, do you have ciders? And she's like, beer cider? I'm like, no, cider. And she's like, and she just got lost. And I was getting lost. And I'm just like, just give me a bourbon and Coke. She's like, bourbon and Pepsi, okay? I'm like, yeah, just, that'll be fine. And I actually liked the bourbon and Pepsi better, which is weird. Anyway, then she started asking us where we were from. Like, we made a joke of the whole thing. Like, it wasn't rude or anything. Like, we were laughing. And
she was nice.
She was nice and we were being silly. And I just got confused because I'm like, how's it's vodka? And yeah, then she came back and asked us if we wanted to order, and then she started telling us about what they had there, and we're like, oh, we know, we've seen it on TV, that's why we're here, came all the way here. Because it's on Man vs Food. And they have these things called horseshoes, where it's like toast on the bottom, then you pick your meat or whatever you want on it, and then they put chips, and then they smother it in like cheese sauce. So he ordered the tender sirloin or something, right?
Irish cheesesteak.
Oh, Irish cheesesteak, which had like whatever meat on it, and then mushrooms, peppers, onions, the chips, and then the sauce. And then, because I have to be difficult, I got grilled chicken, bacon, mushrooms, and then the chips and the sauce. So there's two sauces. There was normal cheese. There was the normal sauce they had, white cheese sauce, and then there was another one that they called the spicy cheese sauce, which is like, it's not spicy at all. They just call it that. I don't know why. So I ordered the different cheese sauce. I ordered the spicy one, and he had the normal one. And then she came and she goes to me, because you can get the half horseshoe or a full horseshoe. And then when I ordered, I said the full horseshoe. And she's like, I think you should get the half horseshoe. Are you sure? I'm like, she's like, unless you're a really big eater, I'd recommend you get the half one. I'm like, nah, I'll get the full one. I'm like, I can eat. She's looking at me and I'm like, all lanky and shit. I get the full one, and then she brings it out, and it's like this huge plate. I mean, you can't even tell in the photo. It's huge. It had to be over a kilo. Maybe 1.5 kilos. Yeah. It was big, okay? It was... And I was starving though, and she came along, and I was like... started eating it, and I was like, oh my god, it was so yum. And the bacon, their bacon is so delicious. It's like really, it's got such a much stronger flavour, and it's like perfect and it's delicious. And oh, the bacon was just amazing. And my throat is so sore. And puppy dog. And then we started eating it, and we got about halfway through, and we're starting to feel it. But I'm like, I said I was going to eat it. I've got to eat it. Like, I can't not eat it. I've got to show her. Because then she kept coming back and seeing how we were doing. And I'm like, I'm almost there. I'm like, see, I'm Australian. Australians can eat. I'm going to get through this easy. And like, like we had this banter with her, like going back and forth, like just joking around and stuff. And then I was really starting to struggle towards the end. And I had to put like tomato sauce. So, because we've been studying, training, and watching Man vs. Food and how he gets through stuff. I think the bourbon and coke probably didn't help me. And I really needed to drink some water. But I was like, I've got to finish bourbon and coke first. And then got towards the end, and we're getting fuller and fuller. And I'm like, oh God, I don't know if I can do it. But his cheese sauce was way nicer than mine. I thought mine would have more flavour, but his was more flavoured cheese sauce. Anyway. And we got towards the end, and she came back, and I'm like, I'm struggling. And I said, but I've got to beat him, because we were about even. I caught up. He was way in front of me, and I think I caught up. And then I caught up to him, and I'm like, I've got to beat him. And then it came down to like the last 5 mouthfuls, and I'm like, because it's like carbs, potato, what did she say? Carbs, carbs, protein. She said I had way more on mine. That's what she said. And so I had to separate it. I had to think strategic. I got through the chips, and then I had to eat the bread. I saved the bacon for last because I knew I could eat that in like 2 seconds. So I smothered the bread in sauce and ate that. And then and he had about 3 mouthfuls left, and all I had was my bacon. I'm like, I've got this. I'm like, yes, I've got it. And I shoved the bacon in my mouth, quickly ate it, went like this, like they do on the show, hands down, and I was the winner. And then I could hear the audience cheering like on the show. And you know how he does that little press conference at the end, Steve? I had that playing in my head. I'm like, thank you everybody. And then she came over, and I was like, I bet him. And she was like, good job. And she's like, do you want some dessert? I'm like, nah. Or something like that. She came along and asked me about dessert at some stage. I'm like, nah, I'm struggling to build this in. It was like up to here, but it was delicious, wasn't it? Anyway, we came back to the hotel, put some more clothes back in the dryer because they hadn't dried. I shower, put some tan on because I'm so white. Paid for the internet, which was absolutely shit house, so I could put these videos up, and it didn't work because the internet was shit house. But I started putting some photos up finally. I only got to like day 2, and there's like 220 photos. So yeah, and got up this morning, had a grab and go coffee, and we're on our way again. So tonight I'm going to do day 11, which is today. So I'm not going to start now because then I'll get confused. But I'm going to do it tonight, hopefully, if I have time. But I probably won't have time. But anyway, so is there anything else we need to say? Oh, and so Route 66 isn't anything like I thought it would be. I don't know if I've already said that. But I just thought it would be like the desert, especially when we were around Arizona and stuff. It's just like a normal road.
And we probably needed more time.
And we needed
to stop off at the towns and
yeah. So we would have liked more time to actually stop in all the towns on Route 66 to actually get the Route 66 experience. But we're just driving along, and it's just like any other road in Australia. So, except we're on the wrong side. El Paso. Huh?
See you in a few weeks.
Yep, we'll be in El Paso eventually, but not now. Coming from the other side. And yeah, so that's it for day 9 and 10. Nothing exciting, just delicious food and a lot of driving. And